Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day, guys, whatever this is, wherever you are. Just know that I am saying blessing to you, and the Father is saying blessing to you. I got a quick announcement to make regarding the Thursday Live. We are going live Thursday, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. That's always the case. But we plan to go live on Thursday, but we're changing the time back to 6:30. That's 6:30 Eastern Daylight Time. So that would be the change that we're making on that. And I believe that will be Thursday the 25th of July. Y'all are going to train me to get all the stuff put together right. The word that I have for you today, I want you to listen closely to, because if taken wrongly, it could get somebody into trouble. And the Lord has emphasized that in the word. It has to do with speaking to the storm. And in this particular case, it has to do with speaking to a physical storm. I was sitting talking with the Lord, and I'm giving this to you on the 24th of July, 2024. On May the 30th, I was sitting talking with the Father, and he showed me a vision. It was a vision of a tornado moving across the landscape and headed for a particular house. There was a man standing in front of the house watching the tornado approach. As it got closer to him, he suddenly lifted his hand, pointed at the tornado, and said loudly, "Peace, be still. You will not come here." He spoke it several times until he seemed satisfied, and then watched as the tornado began to die down and cease all activity. The Father said, "Son, you're familiar with this. You went to the ocean front and you spoke to the hurricane when I told you to. You have always said that you were only one of many that were praying against that hurricane. And you were right. But you, son, were the only one who went and spoke to it when I asked you to. You went and you spoke to the eye of the storm. You spoke with belief and with faith. And because of that, the storm had to obey. I called several to do what you did, but you were the only one who went. The rest just prayed. No, you're not my son, Jesus." Thank you, Father, for that. You're not my son, Jesus. But when I called you to go, you went with the same faith that he had when he spoke to the storm that was sinking the boat they were on. You had that faith because you knew my voice. And you knew that I would not call you to do something that you could not do. I would never do that. I taught you starting from the small things, son. We started with the rainstorms. You learned well, even that it was not something to be used arbitrarily. For when it did not work and you asked me why, I told you to only use the faith power when you had to, or when I called you to. You learned on the job, so to speak, but I'm calling you to train others by your word that I am sending forth through you. Hear me, my children, and listen closely, for this is life and death for you. There are those whom I will call to stand in front of a tornado or a hurricane or a typhoon to stop it in its tracks. But only do this, and this is highlighted and capitalized, Only do this when I call you to. Never take it upon yourselves to step into that position unless I called you to do it. Always make sure that I have called you to do this, and you will know because of the peace that I will put in your spirit as you do it. However, when I call you to this, move quickly and speak out to be heard by the storm. Speak with the authority I give you. The blessings will be yours to have joined with me in saving many. But never forget where the power comes from. And once more I say to you, never step into this position unless I call you to do so. I love each one of you, and I will only call those whom I know will stand for me. I want no harm to come to any of you. Give this to my children, son. I need to start setting right some of what man is doing to the systems of my earth. That's the end of the word. Like I said, it's critical that you never, ever step out to do that unless he calls you to. But I will tell you, if he calls you to do it, there won't be any question. There will not be a question. When he called me to go and speak to that hurricane, I was nowhere as, I don't think, as strong in faith as I am now. But yet I did know his voice. And he had worked with me in the storms, in the rainstorms. That's in my book if any of you have read it. But many times I spoke to the rain and it stopped. And then I spoke and it didn't stop. And like he said, I was using it arbitrarily. But when he told me to go speak to the storm, the eye of the storm was, I think they had recorded it as sitting about 3 miles off the coast. And needless to say, the wind and rain were vicious. I went to the waterfront. I found a place where I could stand on a bulkhead. And I literally, as I looked at that, I could literally see, almost like I was looking into an eye. I could see the blackness of the eye of the hurricane. That is what I did, and I felt perfectly comfortable with it. A little wet, but perfectly comfortable, because Father had spoken to me to do that. I'm saying this to remind you again, when he calls you, go do it. When he calls you, step out in faith, but until he calls you, don't ever try to do that. You can, if you think you want to try it on a rainstorm, try it on that, but the chances are if he's not called you to do that, it won't work either, and then you'll lose your faith. So that's it for today, my guys. God bless you. I love you guys, and I will look forward to talking with you tomorrow night. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. And I did this again without extra light, wearing my glasses, reading the script. So I hope it's worked all right. God bless you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.